Okay, let's get into your reading, Aquarius. Yes, there were 3 of them, and in a very short window of time, there are not going to be 3 of them anymore. And I need you to sit with that before we go any further, because the trouble coming is not just landing on 3 people at once. It is the whole thing they built together finally falling apart. The alliance that pretended to be solid is about to show everyone that it was never solid at all. Drop a comment right now and say, I claim my peace. And if you haven't subscribed yet, please subscribe and turn on that notification bell. Okay, let's go all the way in. And here is the thing the cards made so clear today. You did not arrange this. You did not have to. You did not plot back. You did not scheme. You did not spend your energy trying to bring anything down. The structure was always going to fall on its own, because things built on plotting against another person do not hold their shape forever. And I want to name something in your energy before we go in, because there is a part of you that has been carrying this for a while. A tightness. A low, constant sense of being watched, of being talked about, of walking into rooms and feeling something slightly off that you could never quite prove. And you started to wonder if you were imagining it, if you were being paranoid, if it was all in your head. And the cards are here to tell you today, you were not imagining it. Your instincts were right the whole time. Something was happening, and now it is about to come apart. And the cards are showing me the exact way. So let me walk you through it. Okay, first oracle card. The private pact between them was never as binding as they believed, and the energy opens on a cracked agreement. Because these 3 have been operating under a private pact, a sisterhood of sorts. An unspoken code that said whatever they did would stay between them, that they would each cover for the others, that no one would ever break and tell the truth, no matter how much pressure came. And the cards are showing me that pact cracking, because a pact like that is only as strong as the least committed person in it. And one of them is about to become a lot less committed. Okay, second oracle card. One of the 3 is already sitting alone with the weight of what she's been part of. And the energy is showing me one of them in a very specific position right now, sitting alone in some quiet hour, finally facing what she has been part of. Because for a long time, she has been able to keep her eyes covered, telling herself it was justified, or harmless, or somebody else's responsibility, not hers. And that story is not holding anymore. The weight of continuing has started to cost her more than the weight of breaking. And the cards are confirming she does not just come to see it privately, she acts on it. She is the crack that becomes the break in the whole structure. Okay, third oracle card. The moment it becomes visible is coming. What was in the dark steps into the light. And the energy around the rupture itself is a tower moment. Because once the inner crack happens, the visible event follows fast. A conversation, a piece of information that surfaces, something said in a context where it cannot be contained, and the tower is the exact moment when what was operating in the dark becomes visible in the light, in front of everyone who needs to see it. And here is what I want you to hold on to. You will not have to build the case. You will not have to expose anyone. The tower does that on its own. All you have to do is stay in your own peace while it falls Okay, fourth oracle card. The trouble is not shared equally. It splits and each one meets a different consequence. And this is important because the trouble does not land on them as a group. It splits. Each one meets a different consequence calibrated to what she specifically did. The one who breaks ranks meets the trouble of having to face herself. The other two meet the trouble of a bond that had nothing real holding it together once the third one was gone. And the cards are going to show me each of those threads as we go. But the point your guides want you to hold is that this is not you getting revenge. This is a structure collapsing under its own weight. Okay, fifth oracle card. The cosmic protection they'd been running on is being withdrawn. And here is the deeper mechanism the cards are showing me. For a while, these three had a kind of cosmic protection. Things had been going well for them. Their work, their standing, the smoothness of their days, all of it had been easy enough that they could afford to spend energy plotting against someone else. And that protection is withdrawing, not as punishment from the outside, as a natural correction. Because energy that should have gone into building their own lives went into dismantling yours instead. And the ledger always balances. The small daily blessings that used to land in their lives stop landing. The favors from the universe they came to expect are paused. Okay, sixth oracle card. Your guides are naming the fear before it arrives. Not that they'll escape it, the fear that you'll get pulled back in. And this is the oracle card I most need you to hear. Because there is a fear underneath your piece right now, and it is not the fear that they will get away with it, the cards are confirming they will not. The fear is that you will get pulled back in. That as this falls apart, one of them reaches out, an apology, an explanation, a sudden attempt to make you part of the fallout, and your guides are naming that now because a fear you can see cannot catch you off guard. What they need from you is to stay out of it. You do not have to respond. You do not have to gather information. You do not have to engage with any of it. You just have to stay in your own vineyard and let it unfold without you. Okay, seventh oracle card. You were the target because of what you carry, not because of anything you did wrong. And your guides brought this card through because there is a question that has probably been sitting in you this whole time. Why me? Why did they aim at me? What did I do to deserve being the one three people organized against? And the answer the cards give is one you need to hear clearly. You did nothing wrong. You were not targeted because you are difficult, or too much, or because you earned it. You were targeted because of what you carry, because there is something about you, a light, a self-possession, a way of taking up space without asking permission, that made three people who were not sure of themselves feel smaller by comparison. And rather than build themselves up, they tried to bring you down. That is not about you. That is about what was missing in them. Okay, eighth oracle card. Nothing they took from you was ever really theirs to keep, and it's all coming back. And your guides saved this one because they want you to know that this season is not just about them losing. It is about you getting back what was quietly taken, because while the three of them were operating, things were being taken from you that you could not always name. Your reputation in certain rooms, your ease in certain spaces, the benefit of the doubt that people should have given you and instead gave to the story about you, opportunities that quietly went elsewhere, and none of it was ever really theirs to take. And as the structure falls, all of it comes back to you. The reputation, the ease, the doors, the accurate version of you that was always the true one. Because what is yours finds its way back to you every time. The Hierophant reversed, the Two of Swords, the Tower, the Eight of Cups, the Three of Cups reversed, the Five of Wands, the Knight of Swords reversed, the Page of Cups reversed, the Wheel of Fortune reversed, the Four of Wands, the Ace of Cups, the Nine of Pentacles, 12 cards. And I want to take real time with everyone because together they tell the whole story, how the three become nothing, and what comes back to you as it happens. The Hierophant reversed first, and the Hierophant reversed is the cracked sacred pact. Upright, he presides over binding agreements, loyalty enforced, a closed circle held together by a code. Reversed, the agreement unravels. The keys that kept the circle loyal get picked up by someone outside of it and used in a way the three of them never imagined. And I want you to feel the specific energy of this card landing first, because when the Hierophant reversed opens a reading, it is telling you that the thing everyone treated as sacred and unbreakable was never actually either. These three treated their pact like a vow, like something that could not be broken no matter what came. And the Hierophant reversed is the card saying it was never a vow. It was a convenience. And convenience does not survive pressure. And the Two of Swords is the one inside the group who is breaking, blindfolded, two swords crossed over the chest, caught between two impossible choices. The blindfold is still on, but it is loosening. She has been able to keep her eyes covered and tell herself a story about what the group was doing. And the Two of Swords always ends. She cannot sit on that bench forever. The crossed swords get too heavy to hold. The blindfold gets too uncomfortable to keep on. And the moment comes, and it is coming soon, where not seeing has finally become harder than seeing. And when she takes the blindfold off, she does not just see it privately, she acts on what she sees. And that is the whole hinge of everything. Because she is the one crack that the entire structure depends on staying sealed. And she is about to stop sealing it. And the tower is the rupture, the lightning striking the structure, the crown falling from the top, the figures falling from the windows. It is the precise moment the hidden thing becomes visible. And the tower is not gradual. It is sudden and total. And once it starts, there is no putting it back together. And I want you to notice something about the tower that most people miss. The lightning does not build the pressure. The pressure was already there. The lightning just finds the crack that was always in the structure and releases everything that had been building behind it. And that is exactly what is happening here. The tower does not create the trouble for these three. The trouble was already there, held back only by the wall of their cooperation. And the moment that wall cracks, every consequence that has been waiting outside it all this time finally walks in at once. And the Eight of Cups is the one who walks away. The figure in the red cloak, leaving the stacked cups behind under an eclipsed moon. She walks away from the group, from who she was inside it, from the whole chapter of going along with something she knew was wrong. And the cups she leaves behind are the little benefits she got from belonging. The safety in numbers, the convenient story that grouping up against someone was how you stayed safe, and she puts it all down, not because anyone forced her, because she finally saw what she was actually holding. And here is the part your guides want you to understand about her. Her trouble is the gentlest of the three, but it is still trouble because walking away does not erase what was done. It only opens the long road of having to sit with what she was part of looking back at the version of herself that went along with it, of carrying for a while the weight of knowing what kind of person she let herself become while she was inside that group. And that is its own kind of reckoning, a quieter one, but a real one. Because the hardest person to face after something like this is never the other people. It is yourself and the Three of Cups reversed. And this is the dissolution of the trio. Upright, three figures dancing, cups raised in celebration, reversed, the dancing falls apart, because with the one who walked away gone, the other two cannot keep it going. The shared messages, the shared inside jokes, the little group identity built on having a common target, none of it works anymore. The threads go quiet, the plans evaporate, and the friendship that was built on the shared act of plotting dissolves the second the plotting becomes impossible. And the Five of Wands is what arrives between the two who are left because they do not handle it gracefully. They turn on each other. The accusations start. The story they had all agreed on stops holding the moment the third one is not there to hold it. And each of them, alone with the wreckage, starts blaming the other for choices they all made together. And the infighting becomes visible to the very people who used to think they were solid. And here is what makes the Five of Wands so fitting here. The unity that made these three seem strong was always the source of their power. Together, they looked coordinated. Together, they looked credible. Together, the story they told had three voices confirming it. And the moment that unity breaks, all of that power inverts. Because now, instead of three voices telling one story, you have two people telling opposite stories about each other. And each one, trying to save herself, confirms the very thing they all used to deny. And the Knight of Swords reversed. And this is how the whole thing leaked. Because one of them, in the final stretch, overplayed her hand, got too aggressive, said too much, in a context where it was overheard or repeated or landed somewhere it was never supposed to land. The Knight reversed is the charge that becomes a crash, the overreach that becomes the exact piece of evidence the tower needed to fall. You may not even know yet what was said or who heard it, but the cards are telling me it has already happened. And this is part of why the trouble lands with this much precision. Because these three did not move against you in some careful, measured, perfectly covered way. One of them got carried away. One of them crossed a line that the more careful ones would have told her not to cross. But by the time they noticed, the line was already behind her. And that single overreach is the thread that, when pulled, unravels the whole thing. And the Page of Cups reversed. And this is the false innocence being unmasked. Upright, a sweet, sincere face holding a cup reversed. The sweetness is revealed as performance because the kind faces these three have been showing in front of everyone else, the concerned voices they used when they talked about you where others could hear, all of it comes unmasked. And the people who were charmed by them suddenly see what was underneath the charm, and a reputation lost that specific way does not come back quickly because there is a particular kind of damage that happens when people discover that someone's warmth was a performance. It is not like a normal falling out. It is a reevaluation. People go back through every kind thing these three ever said, every concerned voice, every sympathetic face, and they reread all of it through what they now know. And once that rereading happens, the charm never works on those people again, and the Wheel of Fortune reversed. And this is the cosmic protection withdrawing, the luck that used to flow for them drying up, the momentum that used to carry them reversing direction. Because for a while, these three had been running on a kind of ease. Their days went smoothly. Their work, their standing, the small daily blessings that let them feel they could afford to spend their attention on someone else's life instead of their own. And that ease is what withdraws. The opportunities that used to arrive stop arriving. The little favors from the universe they had come to expect are paused because the ledger balances. The energy they spent tearing at your life instead of building their own comes due. And the wheel turning against them is not cruelty, and it is not you. It is the natural correction that happens when someone spends what should have built their own life on dismantling someone else's. The wheel always comes back around, and now the wheel turns toward you. The Four of Wands, and the Four of Wands is the safety returning to your world. Because while they were operating, the spaces around you had been quietly poisoned. People had heard things about you that were not true. Doors had been closing in ways you could not always name. Certain rooms had felt slightly off, and that ends as the trio dissolves and the false versions of you lose their credibility. The rooms warm back up. The people who pulled away come back. The doors that were closing open, and you are welcomed back into the spaces you belonged in all along. And the garlands of flowers on the wands in this card are the visible sign of celebration, because people are not just quietly letting you back in. They are glad to have you back, glad to see you clearly again, without the distortion that had been laid over you. And some of the people who pulled back slightly during that season are going to feel a quiet regret that they let a false version of you cool them at all. And they will make up for it without you ever having to ask. And the Ace of Cups. And the Ace of Cups is the emotional release. Because while the alliance was active, you had been holding back in some way you may not have even named. A guardedness, a constant low scanning for what might come next from these specific people. And that guardedness releases. The Ace of Cups overflowing is the cards confirming a new emotional landscape that does not require that constant inner vigilance. And you will feel this physically. Your shoulders will sit differently. Your breath will go deeper than it has in a long time. Because you have been holding a low, constant vigilance that you probably stopped even noticing, the way you brace when certain names come up, the way you scan a room for certain faces, the way part of your attention has always been slightly reserved for managing what these people might do next. And all of that gets to come home. All of that reserved energy gets to come back into your own life, your own relationships, your own capacity to feel openly without one eye always on the door. And the Nine of Pentacles. And the Nine of Pentacles closes the reading. The figure alone in a flourishing vineyard, 9 golden pentacles on the vines, a hooded falcon resting on the hand. Because the version of your life that emerges on the other side of this is the one you built for yourself on your own terms, not dependent on any group's approval, not vulnerable to any alliance's loyalty. You become the one who built a foundation that does not require the goodwill of plotters to stay standing. Self-possessed, independent, surrounded by your own vineyard that produces no matter what anyone else is doing in their private rooms. And there are 2 more details in this card your guides want you to see. The hooded falcon resting on her hand, that is the disciplined intelligence you built in the quiet years. The years when you were not plotting, not scheming, just steadily becoming someone who could not be knocked over. The falcon is trained. It is power under control. It is everything you learned to master in yourself while they were busy mastering nothing. And the small snail moving across the front of the card, that is the reminder that your building was slow, steady, unglamorous sometimes, and that slow and steady was exactly right, because the things built fast on shared plotting fall fast, and the things built slow on your own 2 feet are the things that are still standing when the dust settles. Okay, tea leaf cards, 7 of them. First tea leaf card, the one who breaks what finally tips her over. And the cards are showing me what finally tips her. It is not a dramatic confrontation. It is a quiet, private moment where the math finally changes, where staying loyal to the group costs her more than telling the truth would. And once that math flips, it does not flip back. She is the first domino, and she does not even know it yet. And what tips her is not you. It is her own conscience finally getting louder than her fear of the group, because she is the one of the 3 who was never fully comfortable, the one who went along but felt the wrongness of it the whole time. And that quiet discomfort she has been swallowing is about to become the loudest thing in her life. Next tea leaf card, the leak that's already happened, you just don't see it yet. And the cards are telling me the leak has already occurred. Something has already been said, already been overheard, already started moving toward becoming visible. You may not know what it was yet, but it is already in motion. And the only question now is how quickly it surfaces where you can see it. Next tea leaf card, the 2 who are left turning on each other. And once the 3rd one is gone, the remaining 2 do not comfort each other. They turn on each other. Because the 3rd person was the glue, and without her, they discover the friendship was never as deep as they pretended. And what is left is 2 people blaming each other for something they all did together. Next tea leaf card, the reputations that don't come back. And the cards want you to know this is not a temporary embarrassment for them. The warm reception they used to get gets replaced by something cooler, more watchful. Because once people see the real face under the kind one, they do not forget it. And that shift follows them for a long time. because people forgive a lot of things, but the specific thing they do not forgive is being fooled. And when the people around these three realized they were shown a false face, that they defended these three, or believed them, or gave them the benefit of the doubt, while the real story was something else, the thing they feel is not just disappointment. It is the specific coldness of someone who realizes they were played, and that coldness does not thaw. Next tea leaf card. What your guides need from you while it falls, and this is the tea leaf card with the clearest instruction. Do nothing. Do not gloat. Do not go looking for information beyond what arrives on its own. Do not engage if any of them reaches out with apologies or explanations. Stay in your vineyard, because the moment you insert yourself, you become part of their story again. And the whole point is that you are free of it. Let it fall without you. Next tea leaf card. The room's warming back up around you, and as the false versions of you lose their credibility, the people who quietly pulled back start coming back. The invitations return. The warmth returns. And you may not have even realized how much had cooled until you feel it warming again. And it is going to feel like coming home to a place you never should have been pushed out of. Next tea leaf card. What you get back that you didn't even realize was taken, and your guides want you to watch for this in the weeks ahead. Because as the false versions of you lose their hold, things start coming back that you had quietly stopped expecting. A person reaches out who had gone distant and you never knew why. An opportunity circles back around that had mysteriously gone cold. An invitation arrives to a room you had slowly been left out of, and one by one, you start to realize how much had been quietly redirected away from you, and how much of it is now finding its way home. And the last tea leaf card, you in your vineyard, untouchable, self-possessed, free, and your guides ended here because this is the image they want you to carry. You in your own vineyard, self-possessed, independent, surrounded by everything you built that does not depend on anyone's approval. And the trouble that found them never touches you because you were never the one plotting. You were just the one building. And what you built is still standing. Okay. Final message from your guides. Just one. Stay in your vineyard. The structure falls on its own, and you were never part of the falling. Stay in your vineyard. That is the instruction. One instruction, just that. Because the Hierophant reversed showed the cracked pact, and the Two of Swords showed the one who breaks, and the Tower showed the rupture, and the Eight of Cups showed her walking away, and the Three of Cups reversed showed the trio dissolving, and the Five of Wands showed the two who are left turning on each other, and the Knight of Swords reversed showed the leak that already happened, and the Page of Cups reversed showed the false faces unmasked, and the Wheel of Fortune reversed showed their protection withdrawing, and the Four of Wands showed your rooms warming back up, and the Ace of Cups showed your guardedness releasing, and the Nine of Pentacles showed you standing in your own vineyard, untouchable, free, and all of it, every card, is pointing at one thing. You did not have to do anything. The structure fell on its own, and you were never part of the falling. So stay where you are. Stay in your peace. Stay in your vineyard, and let what was built on plotting collapse under its own weight. Because the most powerful thing you can do right now is nothing. The most powerful thing you can do is keep tending your vineyard while theirs falls apart on its own. You do not need to say a word. You do not need to defend yourself. You do not need to make sure anyone knows the truth, because the truth is walking into the light on its own, carried by one of their own, who could not hold the blindfold any longer. So stay still, stay warm, stay in your peace, and let the wheel finish turning. Okay, to bring this home, there were 3 of them. And in a very short window of time, there are not going to be 3 of them anymore. And the cards showed us everything. Your guides told us the private pact between them was never as binding as they believed. That one of them is already sitting alone with the weight of what she's been part of. That the moment it becomes visible is coming what was in the dark steps into the light. That the trouble is not shared equally. It splits, and each one meets a different consequence. That the cosmic protection they'd been running on is being withdrawn. And that the only fear to name is not that they escape it, it's that you get pulled back in. The Hierophant reversed showed the cracked sacred pact. The 2 of Swords showed the one inside who is breaking. The Tower showed the moment of public rupture. The 8 of Cups showed the one who walks away. The 3 of Cups reversed showed the trio dissolving. The 5 of Wands showed the 2 who are left turning on each other. The Knight of Swords reversed showed the overreach that leaked. The Page of Cups reversed showed the false innocence unmasked. The Wheel of Fortune reversed showed their luck reversing. The 4 of Wands showed your safe spaces returning. The Ace of Cups showed your emotional guardedness releasing. And the 9 of Pentacles showed you standing in your own independent vineyard untouchable. And the tea leaf cards showed what tips the one who breaks, the leak that's already happened, the 2 who turn on each other, the reputations that don't come back, what your guides need from you while it falls, the rooms warming back up around you, and you in your vineyard, self-possessed and free. One instruction: stay in your vineyard. The structure falls on its own, and you are never part of the falling. So don't insert yourself now that it's finally coming apart. Claim this, loves. Drop a comment and say, I claim this, and I claim my peace, and I stay in my vineyard, and I was never part of the falling. Because every word of that is true. Save this, share it today, and come back and tell me when the structure falls and the rooms warm back up around you. I want to know what it felt like to watch it come apart without lifting a finger. If this resonated, please give this video a thumbs up. Drop a comment and tell me what hit hardest. And if you're not subscribed yet, please subscribe and turn on that notification bell. Take care of yourself. Bye, loves.